Welcome to the InterViews podcast.
Prima attenzione, Bobo anticipato, palla vagante, mette giù, recoba, il tiro,
Welcome, Interisti, to episode 169 of the InterViews podcast. We are here for the post-match reaction of Verona Inter, which finished 2-1 to the visitors. Goals from Zielinski in the 16th, an absolute goal of the season contender. Giovanni, nice little player, in the 40th, and then a 93rd minute own goal from Frese. Fratesi was involved there a little bit. We'll talk about that. To give Inter the 3 points in a game that I don't think anyone is really trying to remember. Not going to be much discussion about tactics and stuff like that, but nevertheless, Inter gets the win. Continues to stay right up there in the mix at the top of the Serie A table. As always, I'm one half of your co-hosting duo, Alessandro Raffa, joined here by Gianni Paterno. Gianni, did you miss winning games like this?
No, not good for my health. Definitely was not an enjoyable watch. Here it was 3:30 in the morning. Not a good morning at all to be dealing with this. But to get 3 points, listen, I saw the tweets. Sometimes you do have to win like this if you want to be champions, and we'll take it, right? We'll take it. 3 points. I'm sure there's a lot to learn from this, but just happy to win.
Yeah, I had tweeted something to the effect of like the other teams around us, or just even our rivals, even when they're not contending, they pick up wins like this, and their fans are happy. With us, it's like you can't even be happy for 3 points anymore. Like these games are going to happen. I actually, towards the end of that game, as we were heading into extra time, like I jumped in the shower, put the phone up on the windowsill, like wasn't expecting anything. I was getting ready to start my day with other stuff, because we've not really been good in these situations. I don't even think we were good in the situation today, but we pulled out the win, which is what we signed up for with these games. So the 3 points, whether they're ugly or whether they're beautiful, they all count the same. Like I said, these games are going to happen from time to time. So Interisti, just enjoy the season as it unfolds. It takes a long time, for things to look great. So yeah, really happy with the 3 points. And of course, one of the big stories of the game is going to be about some controversy, some refereeing decisions that, by the letter of the law, there should be no controversy. But the Marotta League merchants are at it again. Talk to me. Give me your spiel on the Bisek yellow card. I think we both have the same answer to this, but let's tell the fans of the show what the deal is.
Yeah, I mean, look, I know some people, not fans of Inter, but some people are going to say like, oh, that's such a straight red. He was going to be clean on goal. When you look at the rule itself and you look at the parameters, which one of them is the general direction of the ball and where the ball ends up, because the ball does not continue, it's not like he kicked it onward straight and was able to, was taken down after that. It's clear as day that that's just a yellow, because the ball changed direction. It goes to the right, which is in the direction. I forget who was down there. I think Sucic was down there. That allows it to be like, not, if I'm not mistaken, it's like because Sucic is recovering essentially. It's not a red, unfortunately fortunately for us, unfortunately for our haters. It would never be a red. The same thing would have been, I know there's been a lot of refereeing decisions to complain about, whether you are an Interista, whether you are rooting for others. This is I understand the controversy, but this is one where the application of the rule is done properly. And if you're going to complain about that, then maybe you're like, I get it. I understand if you hate Inter, but maybe that's all you are. It's just a hater, and you don't want the actual correct rules to be called. Like if this happened against Napoli, Milan, Roma, Juve,
Everybody would be whipping out the rule book if it happened
everybody
to them.
would be, oh, but it says it right here. Look at, and they would all be thrilled that the right call was made. But because it's Inter, then it's corruption, which is hilarious to me because we didn't even win the title last year, and we're the ones who apparently are getting all the calls, which is hilarious.
One title in 4 years, and it's
yeah,
the league.
but we're the ones who are the corrupt.
Yeah, I mean, just the name of it, like denial of a clear goal scoring opportunity. Like I don't know, he's just inside the half. He's 50 meters from the goal. A lot of ground to make up. The ball itself gets hit 20 meters away from him towards the sideline into the path of Sucic running towards the ball, who's not exactly Gary Medel. Like he himself has some speed. And then I guess Giovanni, who I like as a player, we're just going to give that as like that's an obvious goal scoring opportunity. There's a lot of work for him to do still. There's a lot of ground for him to make up.
Tons of ground to make up. Who knows what happens?
Yeah,
maybe
close.
I don't know. And even if it was the other way, and Lautaro's the one who gets fouled or whatever, and it turns into that type of thing, like, bro, like it's not a foul. I mean, it's not a red, is what I mean. Sorry.
Yeah. I think the rules were like obviously applied correctly in this situation. I think even Paolo Zanetti afterwards, like he said, in the moment, the perception was, of course, that it was a denial of a goal scoring opportunity. But after reflection, it's the right call. It's the right call. And also, there was another incident that I think people were up in arms over, which was the PO. The drag back across his shoulder. I don't know how you feel about it. I'll give my opinion. I think he's too big of a guy to be going down like that, and I think everybody knows it.
Agreed. And it's a little frustrating because I don't want that to become his go-to. I think you're strong enough where you are able to. I think if he stays on his feet, who knows what happens there. Although he had a poor game finishing.
The headers,
the headers were awful. So who knows if the feet would have been on on point. But regardless, like you have to stop that, man. Like you're too talented of a player. You're too big. You're too strong. Like we've seen you hold off other strong center backs. Like don't be looking for a cheap foul. Like let's not start that reputation, because what I am worried about is if you do that, right, the refs are going to be like, he's going to keep looking for a foul, and then when he actually does, well, I mean, even though he did actually get fouled last week and they didn't call it, but like you're going to see that, unfortunately, where if you keep doing this, you may not get those calls in your favor moving forward. And we do not need that. We already have a hard enough time with the refs. We can't be giving them more reason to not be in our favor.
Yeah, spot on. He put up more of a fight against Komutso with an arm around his neck, like getting rear naked choked, than he did on the little bit of a tug on his shoulder. And plus, not that they've really been living up to this mandate that they have, but they've been saying no more Rigorini, and that's that would fall under that. So Doveri, which you at least have said for a long time that he's the most consistent and best referee in the league.
I think so.
Yeah, so I think they got it right today. And it's unfortunate that there was some controversy, but at the end of the day, it's like the rules were applied. If you want to call Inter lucky, I'll give you that.
100%. I mean, absolutely. Like one of the luckiest games ever.
But not because of the refs, but because of how the game finished.
Exactly.
Yeah. Which you need a little luck to win the title. It's just how it is. So, I guess, story of the game. First 25, 30 minutes, pretty good. I mean, completely in control. Some more opportunities not being put away. Lautaro, getting cleared off the line there in the first half. The goal, Hakan, training ground setup. Apparently, Palombo's idea here to just waft it right into the the space that Zielinski was occupying right at the top of the box, and he fires the technique on that is absolutely perfect to fire it into the back of the net. I don't know how many of our midfielders actually pull off that technique to side foot it into the roof of the net there.
1, 2, 3, 4.
4 of the 7 pull it off?
Yeah.
Which 4? You think Sucic is roofing it like that, side footing it?
Yep. Hakan, Sucic, obviously Zielinski, and Barella could.
Off recent trends, I think Barella is sending that one into the stands. I don't know. Probably.
Listen, he went wide on a volley outside the box. Didn't hate it. I don't know. I think I'm not saying he's going to do it 10 out of 10 times, but do they have you said how many of them could put it, and that's my answer. I'm not saying they're gonna do it, but they could.
Fair. Great way to start the game early on. You get that goal, and then they created some more opportunities, and then there was an obvious taking the foot off the gas moment that happened towards the last 15 minutes of the first half. The goal that Verona scored on the counterattack, we've spoken about that being the big weakness for Inter. Giovanni, who looks to have a bit of something. If we're being honest again about this goal, he does something great, with that finish. But is there anything to be said for the two guys that were involved on this play defensively for us? Bastoni in his close down, and Sommer. If you look at the numbers, the amount of goals being scored against him versus the amount of shots on target being taken, it's insane. It's like basically a very high clip of shots on target are flying into the back of the net against him. On this specific situation, where are you assigning blame? How much blame are you assigning to each of them?
I'm probably going to do about honestly a 50-50 split. I think if Bastoni does a better job there closing down, who knows what happens in that situation? Maybe he doesn't even get the shot off. Maybe he has to go wider. Who knows, right? It's really unfair to put it all on Sommer. However, buddy, your hand's got to be stronger in that situation. I don't care that it's raining. I think maybe 2 episodes ago, I actually complimented him for his ability to play in wet conditions like this and how he has been good in the past. They had a 0.38 XG on the day, and they scored a goal.
Yeah.
You would expect your goalkeeper to make that save, I think, 10 out of 10 times. It's not like he had to really stretch. It's starting to become a concerning trend with Jan Sommer here, and I don't know how much longer we can continue to give him these opportunities. I understand, obviously, with what happened with Pep Martinez, really unfortunate situation there that I didn't get to comment on last week because you had to record with that kid from Alabama for whatever reason. I don't understand it, but anyway, and it was a good episode. Listen, I joke. But do I want him back? Never. But it was a good episode, But all kidding aside, do you need to give, unfortunately, Pep more time to maybe work through those things? I know it turns out that something happened that caused him to veer into the lane, and then just a freak accident, really, that. But that could still mess with you. I don't know. I mean, Fortunately, 100%. I've never done anything, so I don't know if you would be mentally ready to step in between the sticks and really take on that responsibility. Are you going to be there, mentally to be able to work through it? I think it's great that they've brought on some type of therapist to help him with that. I think that's listen, for a lot of the things I don't like about our management, I will say that's a great thing right there. So credit to them for that. But it's do we start looking for a goalkeeper next year? Right? Like, I mean, I think that's something where I was very adamant, even up until the morning of the accident, that I didn't think that we should be going for a goalkeeper. We had one ready on the bench who I thought was more than capable to step up and do it. Now it's like, all right, what's the price on Caprile? Like that might have to be like a very serious thing that we look at this summer, because Sommer is unable to give us his best week in and week out. And if we want to be competing for the title, we're going to need better play from our goalkeeper. So
we dealt with Andanovic's decline for way longer than we should have. Like, once it became clear what was going on with him, we should have moved on to the next as soon as possible. And I'm sorry to say, like, I have a feeling we are entering into that with Sommer. I think the immediate response to the Juventus game was good from him, but it's looked pretty shaky in a lot of instances this season. And I don't know if it's mental or if this is just like an aging decline, your reflexes change. But the numbers don't lie. Like, you get a shot on target against Inter, you're scoring. And it's really not helping this team who, like, sometimes we have to try real hard to get our goals. We create a lot of chances, but with the way that some of the guys up top have been misfiring, like it's too much. We need to have a rock solid player back there. On Pep Martinez, great to see him back in training. I'm not a psychologist. I don't know whether or not he should be doing that, but he came right back to the team. He celebrated like a madman.
He did. Yeah. I did see him run off the bench, and I was happy to see that.
Roma just missed the penalty.
Was it Dybala?
In the 82nd minute. I got to see who took it. Still 1-0. Paulo Dybala. Mike Maignan save.
Somebody tagged Lex in the comments. Unbelievable. She hypes this dude up like he is one of the top Serie A players of all time. A very good player. And I wanted him. I still wanted him at Inter a few years ago. I thought that would have been, I mean, listen, that could have been the key to us getting the UCL that year. But I mean,
anyway.
the dude misses penalties. He's done it before. He's missed against Inter too. Remember Handanovic? A couple saves. Yeah. Well, definitely one, maybe two, but definitely one.
Yeah, a real top of the table clash going on in at the San Siro right now. But anyway, what were you saying? Pep Martinez. Yeah,
Pep Martinez.
He seemed to be in it. He seemed to be alive and not completely distraught at the end of this game here. He only missed one game. He's back into it. I don't know what it's going to look like when he's back on the field, but this team could probably use him a little bit more than they're comfortable admitting at this point.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, Sommer. And then Bastoni, I think he plays it correctly in trying to get Giovanni out to the, on his right foot. It's a much harder shot from there instead of cutting inside. But also, he's just a little bit slow to get
Very
there.
Slow. Like if he pressures him, he probably forces him even wider out. And then it's a shot near post, which, I mean, who knows? Maybe it goes right through his hands anyway. But regardless, like you have to make it more difficult on Giovanni there, which I feel like people should actually call him his full name, Giovanni Nascimento. Like, I think it's just such a sick name.
Yeah.
And I don't know, that's what we should be calling him. But anyway.
Yeah, if you want to really play it up, Bayern, PSG, Barcelona, these are all teams with exceptionally quick wingers, and I don't know that Giovanni is like in that category, but exceptionally quick there. So, I've been seeing on Twitter, regarding Bastoni, he's looked weak defensively the last several games. People saying that he needs a rest. Are you in line with that kind of thinking?
I don't know. Like, what are you going to do? Put Carlos Augusto back there? That's really the only alternative right now, right? Do you think it's worth?
Palacios is hurt, but even so.
In fact, I'm sorry. The fact that you even mentioned him is actually hilarious to me. Like, there's no. I'm sorry. No, that's crazy. No shot.
Sec?
But anyway, nah, man. I think he should stay in the middle. And what are you gonna do? Put
Achad be in the middle.
I guess you could put Achad. I don't know, but then that's so slow, man. So slow. You know what's crazy to think about? If Acerbi was in that situation that Bisek was in, Giovanni probably goes right through. Like he actually, the one that the one that was carded, he probably kicks that onward and is gone.
The challenge itself would have been a red card challenge, not even for a denial of a goal scoring opportunity. It probably would have been studs up.
He either studs up, takes him out, or he's late as anything, and Giovanni's clean on goal.
Yeah. Yeah. How'd you think Bisek did today?
Okay. I think the conditions made it a little bit harder. Everything that was going on with the rain and the pitch looked a little sloppy.
2 games in a row with this rain.
Yeah, I mean, that is pretty crazy. Conditions to play in. I've only played in conditions like that once in my life, and I remember how just disgusting it was and how hard it was to do anything. So, I mean, yeah, apparently it's a decent performance from him. Nothing that I would be like, okay, we're seeing encouragement with it, but I do think that he's not making any massive glaring mistakes. I think there was one instance that I kind of remember in the second half where I think it was Mosquera. Yeah, it was Mosquera dribbling in on Bastoni, and Bisek had his back to Orban and was drifting closer to Mosquera there. If Mosquera picked his head up, which he didn't, and just saw Orban, how open he was, he would have been clean on goal. I think he needs to really learn to have his head on a swivel, looking around him a little bit better and seeing his surroundings, because that could lead to, look, having worked in soccer and seeing how what goes into studying your opponents, I guarantee coaches are pointing that out to their forwards and letting them know he can, drift out of space. He may not notice you if slipping in. If you just use your hand.
It's what we said to be worried about his.
Yeah, it is.
Him being there. I think also in the first half he didn't win an aerial duel, and it sent them off on a counter. Against Kairat, they have in the midweek against Champions League, they have a pretty quick 17-year-old up top that's going to Chelsea, Datsun Sapayev, who's pretty good. Are you going right back to Bisek, third game in a row? Before Lazio next weekend?
Is it Lazio next weekend?
I think so.
Nick
on. Yep, Lazio next weekend.
All right, so we're getting Nick Diani on for the next episode. But yeah, I mean, I think that one I would rather, stick with Bisek. Kairat, I'm saying, stick with Bisek, and then the Lazio game, you go back to Acerbi or De Vrij, whomever,
because they can handle Castellanos.
Yeah, he ain't nothing, bro.
Yeah,
Lazio is trash, bro.
I think I might do the same thing. And just
look at us agreeing. What a shocker!
Keep Bisek in there. A player who definitely there's conversation about whether or not he should be playing against Kairat. Lautaro Martinez, another stinker of a game.
Sit him down, bro.
Yeah. Kivu in the post-match said, we're making too big of a deal about it, that he hasn't scored in a week. Like, the last time he scored was Saint-Gilloise which is not that long ago. If you're being realistic with it, do you think is that a coach taking care of a player in the media, or is the situation what I feel it is, which is just he's out of it right now, does not look
Yeah,
good.
I mean, I think obviously the coach is just I'll give Kivo a lot of credit. He's very good at defending his own players, and he also knows when to call them out. I think he's not Mourinho-esque in that sense. I think he's a little more of a player-first coach, but I think he'll know when to time, his call-outs and when to try to ignite a fire underneath them. But yeah, he's one that I would consider sitting. I don't think that he is playing very well. Not that Pio is doing much better, but really Boni has been probably our most consistent attacker so far this season. I don't know if you would agree or disagree with that, but
definitely the most goal contribution, or probably Thuram had it before he went down. I'm not sure, but Thuram Boni
maybe. But
the top
I don't know. I think Boni has been solid all season, in my opinion. Maybe one bad game here, but the lack of consistency and form that we're having from Lautaro, I think it'll be okay to rest him. Maybe you rest him against Kairat and you start him against Lazio, but you maybe just give him a full game off, let him have a full week's rest leading up to this match with Lazio, and hopefully, he'll be able to bang in a few goals and we can get another 6-0 win over Lazio like we did last year.
So Boni and Pio from the jump against Kairat with Thuram off the bench, Lauti sits the whole time.
That's what I would hope. Yeah.
Yep. I tend to agree there.
I think you do the same thing, right? Like that we did today. 55th minute, you do 3 subs. Maybe you go, you give Sucic, maybe you go Sucic, Zielinski, and Hakan from the start again. And at 55, you sub on Barella, Fratesi, and and you take off Boni or Pio and you bring on Thuram in the 55th minute is what I was trying to say. Three guys on.
I wonder if there's even potential for the Primavera players to make an appearance because
ooh, look at you.
Well, I bring it up specifically because Kivu in the post-match, when he was talking about Thuram's injury, he was saying, like, I know these players and, he's not match fit. It wouldn't have been right to put him in after 3 training sessions. He said that he thinks it's better to look at the Primavera, and he said that he has been looking at the Primavera. So maybe Spinace comes up, can get 10 minutes in the Champions League like De Pieri did, like Berenbrook did.
A little Spinacchio. I like it.
Yeah. So we'll see how that looks. I think let's talk about a few players. Let's not talk about all of them because, frankly, this game didn't have a ton going on in it. It was a very sloppy game. Best on the pitch, Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Any qualms there?
No qualms at all. I thought that this was actually one of his better defensive games from the jump, really. And fantastic game from him start to finish. Great assist. I mean, you have to think about the weight and with the way he placed that ball for Zielinski, perfection. Obviously, like you said, right off the training ground there, and no complaints with him being the man of the match.
Yeah, 5 goals, 1 assist in 8 matches. It's been a pretty incredible start to the season. Ever since the Juventus game, he clicked into form. He's so important for us that I think maybe you even give Barella some time at Regista against Kairat just to sit him down and give him an extended rest, because it was 90 against Fiorentina, 90 again against Verona here, and we were both calling for him to sit. So I think it's probably a good idea against Kairat to switch things up a bit. You have Lazio and Milan coming up back-to-back in the league, so you definitely need him for that. Sucic, 88 minutes today.
Best midfielder in the world. I agree.
Yeah.
No, nothing really great from him. Nothing bad either. I think I'm
trying to remember what really, I guess it was one of those games where it was just like,
yeah, like I
did
mean,
the thing.
This is a game where you're like, I'm okay stepping away, and it's nothing to talk about because you made no mistakes. Like,
Yeah.
minimum turn. I don't even know if he misplayed a pass, to be quite honest. I mean, let me see if I can even see if
45 of 51, 88%.
Okay. Well, still, like, I mean, and 2 of those were considered long balls that he misplayed, so I'm okay with that, right? Like, 8 of 9 on ground duels won. Like, that's
Way better.
way better. So yeah, I think he's just going to continue to improve, continue to grow. He's a player that I'm listen. He's my favorite player right now. Right now, my favorite player, and I'm so upset that I wasn't on last week because you just had to have that kid on.
Yeah,
you just had to have him. You didn't want to wait for me. It's funny. It's funny. Sucic has the game of his life, and Alessandro's like, "Oh, we got to get this one out fast. I can't wait for you." You're like, "Oh, okay."
That's what happens.
That's how. I'm telling you, man. I told we definitely like the mediator saved this week, but we don't know if she's going to be able to help us next week.
Who is she, by the way?
I don't know. I just I said there was a mediator, so I had to throw her in there.
All right. I think this type of game is probably tough for anyone to look stellar. Like we're talking about how good Hakan was, but this is also not like when you think back at his season, you're not going to be thinking, "Oh, do you remember Verona?"
Oh, do you remember that?
Yeah, like this is a tough game for anyone to really look good in. Luis Enrique is getting shit on.
Rightfully so, man.
He's getting shitted on. I don't know.
He ain't it. He ain't it. His money wasted. I don't remember if we were. No, we weren't. We didn't. This show didn't exist when Dalbert was here. But I said it then, and I'll say it again. We should never buy a Brazilian from the French league ever. Ever. Those people, like, oh, give him time. Listen, I didn't want him to begin with. I did not want him to begin with. And I'm not trying to push an agenda. I'm just saying this guy was a waste of money. Same with Andy Doof. It was a panic buy because of Auxilio's friendship with the agent. And now we've got 2 players who are going to do absolutely nothing for us. And the money we spent on those 2 players, we could have used to just go get Ademola Lookman. And that is what's going to bother me for years to come. I don't think we're ever going to recoup the money for Luis Enrique. I don't see a player there. You could say he's a rhythm player. He needs to grow into it. Bro, you started against a team with, I don't know who Braderick is. I don't know. You couldn't do anything against a guy who's probably going to be bagging groceries after a season in Serie C. Like, come on, man. You're going up against nobodies, and you're not doing anything. You were the worst, second worst player on the pitch. Apparently, Boney was even worse. I don't know if I would say Boney was worse, but fine.
No.
Fine. If you want to go, like, if the ratings want to give it that, fine. But Luis Enrique, I don't know what you do. Like, have you seen the movie Office Space?
Yes.
What is it you do here? Like, that's literally what someone's got to sit him down and ask him that.
I think it's right to expect more when he gets an opportunity to start against a team like Verona. I think Verona has been pretty good this year. Like, they're in their games, they've been in all of them. They've
been in them. Yes, they haven't really
been in them.
Turned them into any points really, but they've been in their games.
But still, I think that this is a game that he should have done more with. In fairness to him, Bastoni did have an opportunity to put away a good ball that he had. Granted, Bastoni was by himself in the area, and it wouldn't have been. I think a lot of people would have been able to find him in the box there. It's just looking. I want him to do well, but it is looking more and more like they could have found other options, and maybe I think maybe you just hope that that deal gets done later in the summer, if it gets done at all, and they would have just hung on to Zalewski, because I don't know that we would be having this conversation if Zalewski was on the pitch. It looks like a bad deal at this point in time. It looks like a bad deal.
Both deals look like bad
Those
deals. Like
deals as
selling. Well, then
yeah.
also, but yeah, selling Zalewski. Granted, great. You made 11 million on it. Cool. But selling him and then going and spending 25 million on a guy who doesn't look like he fits this club, it's terrible business. It's terrible business. And then just, I don't know, like you look at the tactical flexibility that Zalewski offers, being able to play both sides, being able to play Metsala. You need those types of players sometimes. You do.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's really no excuses that can be made for him. Like, he's got to start performing. And I think at some point, fairly soon, the whole you're new to the league, you're getting used to the team, I think that runs out fairly soon, because it seems like Kivu is trying to get him minutes and trying to get him opportunities. Granted, he's got Dumfries, like he is the starter, but that's deservedly so. And when you do get your opportunities, you have to make it look good, and he hasn't done so. So it's right to expect more from him at this point in time. And if people are saying that it was a waste of money, I can't really fault them for saying that. It's not looking great, especially when you owned Zalewski. It's really not looking great when you consider that.
Really, especially when we were all excited that we, redeemed that player after his loan. Thought that was going to be cool. A good player to be able to fill in off the bench, start occasionally. People are like, "Oh, he didn't really do much." I don't know, man. When he would come on, he would have an immediate impact off the bench. He was taking on his man.
Zalewski didn't do much?
Yeah, some people were saying that. Some people were saying that.
He lit it up for us
on
pretty
Twitter
much every time. Pretty much every time.
Look at the goal he scored against Torino.
Yeah.
Beautiful touch and turn. Curler. You're going to tell me he didn't do much? I mean, dude, Tejan Buchanan has done more than Luis Enrique for us.
Yeah.
Let that sink in. Like you could have we could have kept Tejan instead of buying Luis and 25 million. And look, you know what? I'm going to do something that I never thought I would do here. I'm going to use Huyan's logic. Right? Because he was saying like when we were ripping on Dumfries, you get what you pay for. You paid 12 million. That's a $12 million player. That's it. Okay, cool. Well, we paid double the price essentially for Luis Enrique. We should be getting double the performance. Yeah, it's not happening. Not happening.
I think the concerns about him are valid.
It's going to be another Dalbert Enrique issue, and we're going to be stuck loaning this guy out to a Sassuolo or a Lecce or whatever. He's not going to do anything. He's going to flop there. He's going to come back, go back out on loan, come back, go back out on loan, and he's going to end up playing for a Serie B side in the Brazilian league.
Yeah, it's been a disappointment. Kivu addressed both Luis Enrique and Juve in the post-match, essentially saying that these players are being used for headlines. And I think he needs to defend his players there. I understand what he's saying. I also understand what he's saying because you have, Gazzetta coming out this week. And it's always Inter. It's never the other teams where you start talking about the transfer window in fucking October. But
nobody gets attention like us.
This week alone, Gazzetta said Zielinski not certain even in January. Fratesi not certain even in January. Juve is probably going to go out on loan. Juve wants to go out on loan. All this stuff. And they don't know any of it. It's just they have to write a story. And what are you going to write about? Inter, instead of writing about any of the other clubs and, what sort of transfer business they need to do, you got Noah Lang at Napoli, also bought for 25 million. That's not even playing, but nobody writes a story that he's got to go out in January. It's about Juve. It's ridiculous. But anyway, yeah, so I think that's what he was referring to when he said, these are players being used for the headlines. And he said he's going to get Juve a chance. I don't know. It's almost getting to the point where I appreciated Juve's cameo against, who was it? In Serie A.
I'm sorry.
Fuck. Where we won that, was it 2-1? Cremonese. At the end of the Cremonese game, I almost appreciated his cameo more than what I've seen, even though he made a mistake that led to a goal. I almost appreciated some of the shit that he was trying to pull off more than what you see from Luis Enrique. But anyway, all right. You have anything else about this game that you really want to talk about, or should we get into some of these questions and get on?
Yeah, just go to the questions. There's nothing I really want to bring up here.
Last thing, Barella and Di Marco, good off the bench.
Yeah.
All right. At a person 1352, I know we improved our attacking depth this season, but despite that, is it safe to say this team is still missing Thuram? 1,000%.
Sure. Yeah. I don't think that's really controversial or crazy to say.
And it's not a bad thing to say either. Like he is one of our best players. It's going to look like that sometimes when one of your best players is not on the pitch. Peter Jordan, Bisek was so nervous and useless after his yellow and moved to right center back. Keep him at center back Kivu. At first glance, I thought it was a pen on Pio, but he might have dived. He needs to be careful or he will get a reputation, like you said earlier. Ugly win, a win we haven't got recently. Take it and move on. Yep. We'll take that. It's pathetic that we actually have to use our valid once in a season get out of jail card in a match versus Verona. I don't know that it's pathetic. I mean, Verona is away from home, not the easiest. It's not. They're a different team this year. They have some good players.
They do. Listen, I think they do a really good job of scouting talent and finding players that end up being good to sell on. And I'm not really going to sit here and pretend like, they are a hard team to go up against. And for the things I made fun of Paolo Zanetti when he was at Venezia, he's definitely improved as a manager and is able to get more out of his young players and instill a sense of confidence in them. Like, I mean, they were almost really a few inches away from making this a 2-2 game, really. If Gift Orban doesn't hit that ball off the post, we're looking at this game even differently, and we're the ones who just are thrilled to salvage a point there. So, yeah, I mean,
super disciplined, like
super
tactically.
I mean,
they never left their shell. Like they locked in and they stayed. Yeah. They didn't do anything too crazy, which you have to give them credit for.
Exactly, and they didn't really give us many opportunities to get in behind them in spaces. They did a really good job of just making it as congested as possible in the middle there. And yeah, I mean, hats off to them for that.
Yep. Intertwined. He asked about Bisek. We covered it. He said the strikers were quite pedestrian today. Pio being the best of the three, but need more from them. Yep. It's been a couple games now without a goal from the strikers. That's too much on the midfield. They got to start putting away their opportunities. They got to start creating opportunities for themselves, frankly, relying a lot on the service. And I think it'll look different when Thuram is back, I hope, but let's see. All right, no speak pipes. I think that's it. I think that's the kind of game it was. The episode reflects the game. You're in and you're out.
Question for you, though. When you look around the Serie A, you look at midfielders, is there anyone that you wish we would have gone after with the money that we spent on youth instead?
Without question, yeah. Yeah.
Who comes to mind? I'm just curious, really.
I mean, the profile that comes to mind is someone with a little bit more steel in the midfield, and the first name that comes to my head is Frendrup. Not that I think he's like lighted up best player in the world, but to play the role of we need the ball winner in the midfield for a team that plays with an aggressively high line and has been hurt on the counters all season. Yeah, I think he would have probably been worth 20 mil to have a little bit of steel in the midfield. So that's the first name that comes to mind there.
Yeah, there's I like him. Frendrup was the guy I wanted. Obviously him. I loved Hulman when he was at Lecce. Not saying that we would have got him now because at Sporting he's the captain, if I'm not mistaken, and we probably would have had to pay like 50 million for him. But if you're looking for someone in that, who is a little like you said, steel, yeah, like that's a no brainer. I was even thinking he wouldn't have cost 20 million, but I'm a big fan of Ivan Ilic, at Torino. I think that's a guy that you could have got for a reasonable price. Maybe too
Silky player.
similar. Yeah, maybe too similar to a Sucic. So like if you said, if you're looking for someone who's a little bit more defensive minded and able to still progress the ball, Frendra for sure. If
The
Koulibaly,
Kones, the Edersons, the Rovellas,
yeah, we
were
would
out
have
of
been
the price
we would have been
range.
priced out. Yeah, like let's be realistic here. I said that's why I said for the price that you spent on Diouf. But yeah, like I think if Lasana Koulibaly at Lecce was younger, maybe that's a guy you could think about. But
Mandela Keita at Parma.
I do
Any
like Kate.
interest?
I just feel like we have not too much from Parma, but there was like always like interest with players from Parma. It seemed like we were talking about Leone, we were talking about there were talks about Keita. Obviously we got Boni. I don't know. Not that I'm against buying a few players, but like
I think this would have been too big a call to make, but people have also been talking about Akin Sanmiro.
I mean, he was great against Torino.
He's been real solid.
He's yeah, I think it's good to see him continuing to grow. Only 20 years old, right? Like, look at this guy, bro. He's got the dogs going crazy there. He mentions Akin Sanmiro and the dog loses it. I don't know, bro. He had to mute his mic, but you guys will see when you watch the video version, he is laughing. So the dog's got problems with certain profiles here. That's I don't know, but yeah, only 20 years old. Akin Sanmiro, he's gonna be one.
Like that.
I mean, still going at it.
What are the chances Stankovic and Akin Sanmiro are both in the team next year?
Both in the team? I'll say there's like a 20% chance that happens. Both of them. One for sure. And I think it's got to be Stankovic. Which, by the way, man, another great game by Alexander Stankovic.
Player of the month in Belgium.
Money wasted on this bum Frenchman, Andy Diouf. The anger. Listen, we could have just not signed a midfielder, is all I'm going to say. I think it's great the experience that Stankovic is getting in the Belgian league, playing with Bruges. It's needed. You got to have that. But yeah, seeing that player and now seeing what's missing, it's breaking my heart, man. It is absolutely breaking my heart to not have him in the lineup, right? Or at least in the roster. And I feel like you always have to have, not always, but I feel like it's always better when you have a player who is like basically heritage for Inter in the club, playing with the club. I wish hopefully next year we'll have Stankovic back in our ranks.
Yeah. It would be a risky call to do the two kids back in the team, but I don't know, with Kiva as a manager, if there's ever a time to do it, it's probably when you have him. Hopefully he's still here if he's not sacked by December.
Well, he's gonna be sacked by Christmas, so we'll if I'm not mistaken. That's what we've heard consistently. So
I would never endorse anyone going to follow Sean on Twitter. But if you did want to have a good laugh, he has been calling out everybody that said Kiva was going to be out by October. It is pretty hilarious. I'm waiting. That thought that had him mid-October. They said he was out.
Listen, I've been saving up some money for a cameo that I'm going to have. That if Kivu is our manager come December 26th, I'm going to be shelling out money to have this person record a video ripping on a certain somebody who might have the Italian football podcast, because he said that he guarantees that come December, but by Christmas, Christian Key was going to be fired. And if he still has a job December 26th, yeah, I'm gonna. I don't know who I'm gonna pick yet. It's gonna be somebody who's gonna have some good rolling insults and gonna be able to like give off the vitriol and just tone that I want to have,
like a roast.
because it's gonna be it's gonna be like a at least a 2-3 minute roast. I'm gonna ask about this anyway.
It's one of my big desires for this season is that Kivu proves everyone wrong. Because I just really I like everything that he's saying in these press conferences too. I think he just seems like such a good man manager and seems to have such a pulse on the team. The way that everybody talks about him, the way that you saw today with him
With the way
celebrating the goal,
Bastoni, bro, like
that didn't look like what you typically see.
no, and it didn't look like a guy who's
Everyone's freaking out. Spalletti to Juventus. I've never seen a player do that. I've never seen them interact like that. It's good to see.
not even close, bro. Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome to see, and I'm thrilled. I know you and I have been proponents of giving him time and saying, he's going to come good, to not, be so quick to cast him aside, and I think that if he gets actual backing with players who actually fit the team, not just, throwing I'm sorry, but there's no way you could tell me that Kivu was like on board with Henrique or Diouf. You just can't.
No, Henrique was an Auxilio deal that was handshake agreement in January.
In June, like before we even had the manager. So like that's anyway, doesn't matter. I'm excited with what we have with Kivu, and I just hope that he continues to mature. He continues to make the right in-game adjustments as well. I think that's going to be equally as important, which so far we've seen that he is able to make them. And when we lost the game to was it Udinese early in the year where we lost? Yeah. I loved even the way that he went all out attack, all four strikers, like really just trying to get the point. Whereas in the past, I feel like that would not have been the case. So I think that he is, learning things, and the team did not give up in that match, and I feel like they still fought today. Things weren't going their way, and we're still trying to cross the ball into the box, trying to get things in, trying to make stuff happen, and fortunately, we were able to get that one goal at the end there. But yeah, he's not perfect by any means, but he is making strides, which is very promising.
And he's a young coach, and like to expect perfection at this point is crazy. And to our credit, like we told you guys when we had the manager discussion that we weren't worried about Kivu, other than like would he have the cachet to tell management who he wants and who's in the team, and would he just be a puppet for them? But we weren't necessarily that concerned about what he can do from a man management and tactical standpoint. So it's good to see that. And again, he is a young coach, and all these he's already shown you he's making adjustments. The first few games of the year was all out high line, and he worked on it. So yeah, 2 wins back to back after the loss against Napoli, a good way to do it, and keep it up. Kairat on Wednesday, then Lazio and Milan in the league. It would be great to sweep that. It would be great to sweep that.
Yeah, it would be. That's what I want. I want to I want to win all three. Most importantly, we gotta beat Milan. Most important, but I want to win all three.
Yeah, our big fixtures this year have been Juventus and Napoli, and they haven't gone our way. So the pressure is going to really, really ramp up for this Milan fixture. It's starting to ramp up now. They've just beaten Roma. So yeah.
I just realized I think Nick Diani is going to be out here in Vegas for the Lazio game.
Double up.
So he may not be
Oh, too much going on.
Yeah, he may not be able to. Anyway.
Napoli in first place. Inter, Milan, and Roma all tied for second place, 1 point behind the league leaders. Got a bit of a race on our hands here, folks, which is It's going to be fun. Well, hopefully it's going to be fun. All right. I'm good to go. Anything
Same.
from you? In the words
Nothing
of the
from
great
me.
Roberto Scarpini, forza ragazzi, forza ragazzi, forza ragazzi.